Hi everyone, it's Desiree and I am here with Birch Press Design and another design team project. And for today we are going to focus on the Viola plate, or Viola, however you would want to say it. I like to say Viola. And we're going to deal or work with the 3 layers. Now, what I'm also going to show is how you can use these 3 layers, meaning we're going to put this one with this one. We're going to have all 3 together. So by using each of these plates, you're going to get different looks. And it's because of this plate right here, this C plate, the bottom plate. You can see that it's got some embossed areas in it, lines, design. And as you lay these other layers on, they can either be visible or they won't. So we're going to go through that, and I'm going to show you the different ones that I have created, or that we're going to create. Now, one of the things that you can always do, and I'm going to gab, again, videos long, lots of gabbing, may not like it, just saying. So I'm going to show 4 different styles, and I'm just going to get my card bases ready as I'm gabbing away here. So the die cutting machine that I use is a Spellbinders 6, and it works very well when it comes to these dies. Some of these dies can absolutely and are very intricate, meaning there's lots of pieces, very small pieces that are being cut out from these layers or the image. I don't have any problems with the Spellbinder 6 going through those. I do go back and forth once each way as I'm doing that. I just never show my die cutting, only because the camera would shake and you'd all get really sick. So who wants that? Yeah. So let's not do that. So now that I have my card bases together, let me just score these down. And I'm going to show you. So I have the different layers cut already. And again, just to save time when it comes to creating our cards. All right, so we'll just put those up there. So the first one that I want to show is, it's a classic. You know, you have your classic 3 layers of white. Absolutely is beautiful. Using just 3 layers of white cardstock, to me, is elegant. It's the, I guess I would want to say, it's the definition of clean. Clean and simple, because you're just using one cardstock to get that placed down. Now, what I'm going to do is I am just going to add a bead of glue around the outside and then just go in a little bit on the inside. This layer B is pretty solid. It's not very intricate like the layer A would be, so I don't have to go too crazy with it. Now, by all means, I could just use the those adhesive sheets, but I have to be honest, I forget. You thought I was going to say something else, didn't you? Yeah, I honestly do. I honestly do forget to get them. I have them. I just, I'm so used to using my glue that's what I use. I keep losing my glue sponge. I'm just saying. I think the glue sponge really does work. You got to make sure that you store that upside down so that the glue always stays to the front, or to the top, I should say. But yeah, I keep rearranging things, and I now can't find it. Now I've got to move that piece. There we go. So I'm just going to put some dots along the way. Definitely hit the center of these, because that's a big area. And then I'm just going to fill in with some dots. And then we will put this down. So again, very simple, very elegant. Just having, and it doesn't have to be white. I mean, you can use many or any other color of cardstock that you would want to use. As you put and as you use these multiple layers, it does get nice and sturdy, which gives you a lot of choices when it comes to creating your card. You could have, you know, you could just cut the front off and have this opened and have that sitting there. But I do like the fact that if we take this and put this down onto a standard A2 size card base, you have still that elegance, if that makes sense. Now, how can you dress this up? Oh, that's very easy. So if I set that down, I love the design it makes, because having that white as your base, it adds yet another layer. So while your layering dies are 3, you've now added a 4th layer to that. By simply adding gems, and I've grabbed my metallic gold. Just gonna pour some out here. And I'm going to look at the center of these flowers. And I am just going to put a gem down. And just by simply doing this, you've added even more dimension to your card. You've given it a little bit of bling, which is a good thing. Just making sure I grab the same size. And again, just that simple. Now, what kind of card can this be? You can make that any card that you want it to be. It can be a birthday card. It can be an engagement card. It can be a wedding card. Well, basically what I'm going to create here is, oops, forgot a gem. Hold on, there we go. Won't get off my nail. Of course. Really? There we go. We're going to make this a Christmas. Now, since I chose, even though I chose gold, I'm going to grab one of my silver. And I just want to make sure that, I don't know if this is centered. I kind of, wow, it's pretty close to center. So we're going to go with it, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put glue right across this. And I'm going to set that right in between these 2 layers. I'm just going to push that down. And we've just turned it into a Christmas card, silver and gold. So that's one way that you can use the dies. And again, it looks like you've got 4 layers going on here because you made everything one color, including your card base. Now, can you use these layers in not as all 3? Absolutely. So one of the things that you can do is just use the A and the B, and that's what this looks like here. So for this one, for the A, I chose to use a gold a gold mirror cardstock. Now this is actually a satin gold. And then just the layer C. Now you can see all of that beautiful detail in there. And when we layer it, you kind of lose it. You don't get to see it. You just get to see a very small portion of it in some cases, but you're not seeing it. So if we just go from A to C and we put this down, you now get to see that beautiful detail of all of that embossed areas within this panel. So I'm going to do the same thing. I am just going to put my glue around. I like to do the edge first. And now I'm going to go into the centers. And then just pick some areas where I'm just going to put some dots. And then just fill in as we have to. And now I'm going to put this down. And I'm just going to make sure that I'm lined up along those edges. And then press down. And if I have to, I will trim. You know, like on this edge here, I'm just going to trim some of that white away to make it even. So now, since I just used 2 of the layers, but I can still see all of that beautiful embossing. It's a completely different look. Still elegant, still beautiful. Again, just because they're layering dies doesn't mean you have to use multiple colors. The most simplest colors can still bring these dies to life in very different ways than using the multiple colors. Now, I'm not saying if you want to use the multiple colors, please do. They do provide gorgeous results as well. But you guys know me. Sometimes I do say the most simple is usually the best and can give you great results. And by putting this onto your standard A2 size card base, and if it's the same color as your base, so now I'm putting this white on white and then having the gold on top, you can see it looks like you have another layer. All right, but again, let's add some jewels to the top of this. And again, we can still have fun with the silver and gold. I do like silver and gold. I mean, you can see my rings. I know a lot of people don't like my rings on the camera, but oh well. I do like the look of silver and gold together. So I'm going to just add some silver gems into the center of my flowers. And of course I just gotta find one more. All right, so we have that. I always like to make sure I put these away because if I don't, you all know what happens. And for this one, I have another Christmas sentiment. Now for this one, I'm actually going to trim this one down. And I think for this one, I'm actually going to use a gold. So I'm going to trim it. I'm going to trim that one over here. but I'm going to do the same thing. I'm just going to glue it right down onto this piece and try to put it as centered as possible. And I'm going to hold it there just for a little bit because I am trying to glue this onto mirror cardstock. So that does stuff, it just likes to slide around a little bit and make yourself crazy. And that's that card. Now you could also put other gems in between. I mean, you could have wonderful designs with your gems, but again, use your layers differently. You don't have to, use them all, but they do look gorgeous when all of them are used. And then of course you have this here where you're just putting, as I drop it rudely, only me, just adding that hint of gold to the top. But again, same dies, two very different looks. So I encourage you, if you're looking for this, again, it is the Viola plate, but if you have other Birch Press dies, try to use the different layers in different ways. You don't have to use all of three. You can get two completely different looks that are absolutely gorgeous. So I hope I gave you some tips and tricks on how you can use your layering dies. Maybe I gave you some ideas on how you can use your layering dies with solid colors. Again, it just doesn't look beautiful with white. It can look beautiful with any color, up to and including black. Absolutely. So as always, all the products that I used will be listed down below. If you should have any questions at all, make sure you leave those down below as well, and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. Continue to enjoy your day. Continue to smile. And always continue to stay safe and healthy. But just do this just a little bit each day. Always. Be creative, guys. Till next time, take care.